Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if this is the first video you are seeing from me, welcome. So for today's video, I am finally going to be doing my fall clean and decorate for this year. I honestly feel like last year I did this really, I guess you could say too soon, because after a little while, I started to notice that I was getting tired of my fall decorations and I just really wanted to put them away. So this year I decided that I wasn't going to decorate super early like I did last year. So yeah, I am so excited to finally get all of these decorations put up. But first of all, I have to get my house in check because it is a complete disaster. So I'm going to go ahead and go through and clean everything. I'm going to start out here in the living room. And my two little ones have been liking to play with their little train set and the alphabet wood block things that they have. And so I need to just pick up everything here in the living room.
Ahora quién me va a dar los besos como tú los das. Todo es una ilusión y eso lo verás. Tú amabas a Nico pero nunca a Nicolás. Tú eras la oveja mala del rebaño. Tu vicio a la fama sí me hizo daño. Tantas promesas fueron por el caño. Porque lo único que cumplí son años. Chica, si te vas y luego me quieres ver.
So throughout the video, you are going to see these two little dogs following me around everywhere, and they are my two dogs. So the darker one, her name is Diva, and then the lighter one is Canela, and we call her Nella for short. But it's funny because a lot of people don't know that Nella is actually Diva's mom. So I got Nella when my daughter was a baby, and so they are the same age. But I got her when my daughter was a baby, and she is actually a Pomeranian Maltese mix. Her mom is Pomeranian and her dad is Maltese. And a lot of times people will ask me what her breed is, and for some reason they always think she's like a Yorkie or something, but no, she is not. She is a Pomeranian Maltese. And a couple of years ago, I had noticed that her stomach was starting to get like hard, and I never got her fixed just because I always knew she was going to be an indoor dog. And at the time, I had asked my vet how much it was going to cost to get her fixed, and they said it was going to be around like $600 to $800. And honestly, at the time, we just didn't have the money, so I didn't do it. And I was like, we had moved into our house and we were supposed to get a fence, but we actually never got a fence. But anyway, so I noticed that there was a neighborhood dog that was coming around, and it was a Pomeranian little dog. But long story short, he got my dog pregnant, and I wasn't really sure, but I remember telling my husband, like, hey, I think Nella is pregnant because her stomach feels really hard, and I don't know. I just had a feeling like she was, and he kept telling me I was crazy. And I had been like massaging her belly to see if I could feel any movement or anything, but I never did. And one day she just started like panting, and I was telling my husband like, hey, I think she's in labor. And again, he was just like, no, you're crazy. And yeah, it turns out that night she had Diva, and she only had one puppy. And yeah, so we've had her since she was a little baby. But it's funny because people don't know that Diva is Nella's daughter because she is bigger than her mom, and they don't really look, 100% alike. But yeah, that is just a fun fact that I wanted to share with you. I started to vacuum this living room area, and then I quickly realized that I forgot to wipe down the coffee table and the end tables, and so I ran and got my cleaner, and this is the Method disinfectant cleaner that I am using, and just a microfiber cloth. So I went around and dusted everything off. And then I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum, and then also before that I had to vacuum my couches because Diva sheds and I really just don't like having the dog hair all over the couches. So I just took my little Eufy, I think it's called Eufy, I don't know, this little hand vacuum, and I vacuumed off all of the couches. This hand vacuum I had purchased from Walmart, and I believe it was around like $26. I will leave it in the description if anybody is interested. But it is a handy little thing. Like, you just don't realize how much you just need like a little vacuum that you can just grab and go. It charges, it's wireless, it does last quite a while, and the suction on it is pretty good for a little hand vacuum. And so yeah, like I said, I will go ahead and leave that in the description if you want to purchase one for yourself. Like I said, at the time I purchased it, it was $26. I'm not sure if it's still on rollback right now, but I definitely think it is worth the price.
Take it personal, I ain't lying, I ain't hiding, I've been grinding, multiplying.
So something that I wanted to mention is this coffee table we have here in the middle of our living room, we've had for many years. And recently I have been thinking of painting it white, just because, I don't know, I just feel like it might, I don't know, I've just been wanting to change like the dynamic, I guess you could say, of my living room. And I'm just honestly over like dark furniture. And so I was wanting to purchase a new one, but then I started to think like, hey, maybe I can just go ahead and paint this one white. And so I've been looking up a bunch of YouTube videos to see how to paint furniture, and yeah, I'm kind of really leaning toward painting it. And so let me know if you guys think that is a good idea, if you want to see or you want me to include it in one of my videos. And I think what I'm going to do is paint the coffee table first, and then if I like the way it turns out, then I will go ahead and also paint the end tables. But yeah, that's kind of my thought process. And then if for some reason I don't like the way it looks, then I can just, I don't know, sell them or get rid of them and then buy a new coffee table. And then the other thing is this coffee table actually has like a really big, it's messed up on the top because we went to the store one day and I think it was liquid, or no, it was Goo Gone or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some kind of chemical in a bag that we had placed on this coffee table, and it happened to tip over, and so the chemical that was inside the bottle that was in the bag spilled out and kind of ate up the wood and stuff. So I figured I could also like fill the wood at the same time and then just make it look brand new again, and then put like new little knobs and stuff on it. I don't know, that's kind of what I am thinking of doing. And so yeah, now I am gonna go ahead and clean up this fireplace area. I have not cleaned the top of the mantle in a while, and so I just decided to go ahead and wipe that down because I am going to be putting a wreath up here, or not a wreath, a fall garland. And then as I was cleaning the fireplace, I noticed that there was a lot of dust inside of like the fireplace. You can actually take this out and kind of pull it apart, and so I noticed there was a lot of dust in there, and it started to bug me. I was gonna leave it at first, but then I was like, you know what, I can't. So I ran and grabbed my vacuum, and then I just vacuumed up as much as I could on the very bottom area. And then on the top area of the fireplace there was a lot of dust, and so I tried to use my hand vacuum to kind of dust that out, but then I quickly realized that wasn't working. So I ran and grabbed my Swiffer duster, and I just dusted that out the best as I could. It wasn't perfect, and honestly, the OCD person in me was like, I just wanted to get every little piece of dust out of there, but I knew it was just going to take way too much time. I had a lot to do, and I was trying to get it all done before the kids got home from school. So I just did the best that I could, and then I decided to go ahead and wipe down the glass in here. And whenever I started to put the fireplace back together, I was having a hard time putting like the top piece back in, but I finally got that figured out, and I was very happy about that. So I would definitely say my least favorite thing to do when it comes to cleaning is dusting. For some reason, I just really do not like doing it. It's like a huge chore for me, and especially with like little trinkets and stuff like these little lamp things that we have here in the living room, just dusting off stuff like that. It's just so tedious and annoying to me, but I know that it has to get done every once in a while, so I decided to do that today. But I'm just curious, what is your, like, the thing that you do not like to do when it comes to cleaning? Whether it's dusting, you know, cleaning bathrooms, stuff like that. Like, I definitely don't enjoy cleaning my bathrooms, but dusting is just one of those things that I will just continuously put off until it just absolutely has to be done. So up next, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to cleaning my dining table and the dining room area. As you can see, it was a huge mess in here. We had McDonald's the night before, and after eating, I was honestly just so tired. I did not even want to pick up any trash or, you know, clean up in any way, so we just left it the way it was. And it also still had stuff from breakfast from the day before and lunch, because it was just a super lazy day, and I was like, I'm not gonna clean. And honestly, you guys, when it comes to me knowing that I have a video to film, I will look at a mess and be like, okay, I'm just gonna let it be because I need to film a cleaning video, and then I don't film the cleaning video, and then stuff starts to pile up. So that's how these messes come about, but I'm okay with that because honestly, it does make for good content. So yeah, the first thing I like to do when I clean my dining room is just take everything off the table. I grab all the trash, throw it in the trash, grab all the dishes, throw them in the sink or next to the sink, and then I go ahead and wipe down the table. And on this day, I did notice that the table cover that we have was super dirty underneath it, and that's just because over time, my kids like to stick their hands under there, and of course at the table they're eating, so they have food on their fingers and their hands. And when they stick it under the table cover or the protector, it just makes a huge mess under there. And so on this day, I noticed that it was really bad, so I decided to go ahead and clean that off. And having a table protector is something that I definitely recommend for anybody who is looking to purchase a new table, or especially if you have like a wood table that has like these little cracks in them, because stuff can get stuck in there. And then with my kids, there was a couple of times where they spilt their drinks and I didn't see it, didn't notice. The drinks stayed on the table overnight, and then it made the wood bow, which is a bad thing. So definitely recommend a table cover if you don't have one. I got this one on Amazon. They are a little pricey, but I would definitely say 100% worth it.
How to make me fall for you. You should learn that on your own.
So this cleaning gadget is something that I have been very excited to share with you guys. It is something that I have purchased, I want to say maybe 3 months ago or so, and it has been honestly a huge lifesaver, a game changer for me when it comes to cleaning, and I 100% recommend purchasing something like this because it saves so much time and it's just amazing. So this is the Tineco vacuum mop. So it is a mop and a vacuum in one. They do have the Bissell one as well. I believe it's the Bissell Crosswave, and I was actually considering purchasing that one when I bought this one, but this one was cheaper. And I believe when I bought it, it was around like $190. It was on sale. But the Crosswave, like I said, I was looking into it and I was considering it, but it was like $100 more than this one. And I honestly wasn't sure if I was gonna like it or not. And so I didn't want to spend too much money. But in the end, honestly, this one has just exceeded my expectations. Like, it's so amazing. I absolutely love it. And so, like I said, it is a vacuum and a mop in one, and it just saves so much time because typically what I would do is I go through with my cordless vacuum, the Shark one that I have, and then I would have to come back around and mop. And a lot of times on like a regular daily basis, I wouldn't mop just because it is such a hassle to have to like go and get the mop bucket and fill it and put your solution in, and then when you are done, like, you have to clean your mop head and then throw the water out and then clean out like your mop bucket and stuff like that. So it is a huge process for mopping the floors. And also, I noticed when we moved into this house, we have a lot more hard floor, and so my mop water was getting dirty a lot quicker than normal. And I was just noticing that, like, toward the other end of the house that I would clean last, it was just looking dingy and not clean, and it was just annoying. And honestly, I wasn't wanting to have to like empty out the mop bucket and refill it and stuff like that, so I wouldn't. But since I got this thing, it's just been so awesome. Like, my floors have never been cleaner. I only have to go over them one time and it is completely clean. The battery life on it for me is perfect, so I can mop the entire hard floor area in my house and still have like 1 bar of battery left over. And at the very end, you will see me dumping out the dirty water, and it is just so satisfying for me to see that dirty water being dumped out. And then also, because it is constantly cycling new clean water onto the floor, you're not getting that like dingy effect because you're using the same dirty water like you do with a regular mop. And so that's just been awesome for me as well. And it also has a self-cleaning cycle, which I do use once I run out of clean solution. And so yeah, I can't say enough good things about this. I will leave it in the description if any of you are interested.
I just need you. I know what it is you do. I just wanna love you, just wanna hold you, just wanna be with you till we grow old. Just tell me you'll stay or take me away. I want you for myself every single day. You set my...
Here next, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the kitchen area. And the first thing I like to do when I clean my kitchen is just grab all of the dishes, rinse them off, and put them in the dishwasher. And I am that person who has to rinse the dishes off. Like, I cannot just put them in the dishwasher while they're dirty. I don't know, for some reason I just feel like they don't get clean, like they don't get as clean when they aren't rinsed off. And for me, I like to take the time to rinse them off because I do consider it time saving, because sometimes my husband will load the dishwasher and he doesn't rinse the dishes off, and then what happens is I take the dishes out and some of them are still dirty, so then you have to rewash them. And for me, I'm like, just rinse them off, get all of like the food and stuff that's stuck on there off, that way you don't have to wash them twice. And I am that person that will fill my dishwasher to the brim because I do not like hand washing dishes. I do hand wash like my bigger pots and pans, and that's just because they cannot fit in the dishwasher. But you better believe everything else is going to be shoved into that dishwasher, and I'm going to make it fit one way or another. As I was putting some of these clean dishes away, I did notice that my rubber drying mat was super dirty, so I did decide to go ahead and grab that and give it a quick wash because it has been quite a while since I have took the time to get this thing clean. And to do that, I am using my Dawn Power Wash Spray. I have been loving this stuff lately. Honestly, when I first purchased it and used it, I wasn't too impressed. But I feel like over time, I started to find things that I could use it for that I hadn't thought of before. And so it started to become like more of a staple in my kitchen. So if you haven't tried the Dawn Power Wash, I definitely do recommend it. I buy mine at Sam's Club because it comes in a bulk 3-pack and it is a lot cheaper than purchasing it like at the regular store. And some of the things that I like to use it for is for my large pots and pans and bowls and stuff, like I said, that I cannot fit in the dishwasher. I use it to wash those. I used it to wash my drying mat. I really love using it for the stove top. I will even clean my appliances with it, my dishwasher, my refrigerator. I use it to clean my vacuum mop, and I will also use it for my laundry. So like my husband likes to cook, but a lot of times he will splatter cooking grease on his shirts, and so I like to keep one of these on hand in my laundry room, so whenever I notice those splatters, I just spray it on there and then it will take it right off in the wash.
Estoy loco por tocarte, pero no me atrevo a textearte. Tú solo bailas en mi mente, mi amor. No hay nadie más con que prefiera bailar, aguanta y baila como fuego. Iluminamos el cielo con nuestro amor. Aguanta y baila siempre. Baby, quiero nadar en tus palmas. No necesito sombra ni paraguas. Mi amor, me gusta cuando estamos ahí. Botella como será calentita y no tengo mucho que perder.
And of course, I had to go through and clean my son's high chair. This is actually something that I had recently talked to my husband about, or I should say complained to him about. I'm like, man, I am just so tired of cleaning this high chair. It's like every day, 3 times a day, like anytime he eats, sometimes even more. Like if he's having a more messy snack, I will put him in the high chair for that. And it's just like constantly getting dirty and constantly just having to clean it. And I was just telling my husband like, man, I'm just so tired of cleaning this high chair. Like I cannot wait until he is around, I would say 3 years old. That's how old my other son is, and he doesn't use a high chair. So I'm like, I just cannot wait to finally throw this thing away, or I'll most likely give it away, but just to like not have to have a high chair in the house anymore because it is just such a pain in the rear. But honestly, this high chair is definitely a lot easier to clean than some of the high chairs that we've had in the past. I'm really glad that the back and the part that he sits on, it's like a, I don't know, I don't want to say rubber, it's like a different type of material, but it does actually come off of there and you can wash it. Whereas like I think with my first son, the high chair we had like a fabric covering on that area, and it was super hard to, you know, take off and wash every single time, so we wouldn't. And so like his high chair was constantly dirty and I really hated it. But yeah, something that I do like to do with my baby's high chair is if it is super dirty, I will bust out my steam cleaner, because they tend to have a lot of like little nooks and crannies that you have to get into. I like to get my steamer and just kind of like hit those areas up, and it will just blast all of the little pieces of food and stuff that is stuck in those areas. I didn't do it on this day just because it wasn't super dirty, but that is something that I will do from time to time when his high chair gets super dirty.
Things unsaid, and you cannot forget how my mistakes haunt us, but do they really daunt us? Your tongue can be sharp, cut me close to the heart, but we can master the art. And the thing is that these scars are scary, but they are just some old scars. We should never be afraid of them. You and I know when we are too far apart, everything just falls apart. So I just close my eyes and dream about.
So you will notice here on our bar area, I do have a mason jar, and it has some vinegar in it because recently we have had so many fruit flies just invade our house, and it really happened out of nowhere. I would say even like a week before I filmed this video, and believe it or not, before I had filmed this video, I was really staying on top of keeping my house clean. So like every night before we went to bed, my husband and I would go through and just like clean everything up, throw all of the chairs from the dining table up on the table, just like we were putting all the dishes in the dishwasher, wiping everything down. Like the house was like spotless. And then all of a sudden we get a bunch of fruit flies, and I was just thinking like, where the heck did these fruit flies come from? But anyway, so I looked up on Google how to get rid of fruit flies, and they recommended to get like a cup or a jar, put a little bit of apple cider vinegar and a couple of drops of dish detergent in there, and then you cover it with saran wrap and poke a few holes on the top, and that will like capture fruit flies. And it did work. I mean, it does work for me. I caught like a whole ton of them, but it's just not working as fast as I wanted it to. And so I just wanted to see if anybody has any recommendations, like if you've ever had a fruit fly infestation. Please let me know any tips or any like products that you might have used to get rid of them quickly, because they are getting so annoying and they're just so tiny that you can't really like catch them or like use a fly swat and like kill them that way, because they're just hard to see until they're like right in your face. So up next, I needed to tackle this stove. So I had recently cooked Navajo tacos, and you have to deep fry dough to make fry bread, and so it just splatters all over the stove and makes a huge mess. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my steam cleaner and go ahead and get this thing like spotless. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I have the Bissell Steam Shot. That's what it's called. The Bissell Steam Shot. And I'm just gonna go ahead and clean off the tops of like the grates and stuff. And whenever my steamer is full, like I just freshly added water to it and it is completely full, I notice that when I tip it over, it tends to like spray a lot of extra water onto the stove. And so I had to grab a rag and put that in there to kind of soak up some of the water, because I didn't want it to get into like the little area where I don't know what it's called, the little area where the fire comes out. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just clean it this way. I have had a hard time finding stuff that really works to keep my stove super clean, and I have found that the steam cleaner has been a huge lifesaver for, especially for like the parts of the stove where you have a lot of baked on stuff. So say something spilled, you didn't clean it up, and then you cooked again and it just bakes on there. I find that the steamer is really good at getting that stuff out. And my two products that I use right now to get my stove completely spotless is the steamer and the Brio pads. I believe it's the red ones that I use. But what I will do is I will take my steamer, and wherever I see something that is baked on or just will not come off, I will hit it with the steamer for a few seconds and just kind of let it sit there and do its thing. And then I come back with the Brio pad and I will scrub it, and that will take anything off of my stove that just will not come off. I remember when I had my old stove in the other house, there was like baked on things that would just not come off no matter what I use. Like even if I just use the Brio pad on its own, it doesn't take them off, but kind of softening it up with the steam really helps. And so I remember in the old house, I tried using a razor to kind of scrape that stuff off, and it ruined my stove because I scratched it. So yeah, I do love using the steamer. It works really well on like the little again, I don't know what they're called, but like the little part where the flame comes out. Sometimes those will get like black and dirty, and using this on there just works like a charm. So if you are having a hard time getting your stove clean, I definitely recommend purchasing a steamer and then these Brio pads. And for times where my stove isn't really dirty, I do really love using the Dawn Power Wash. I just spray it on the stove and it will loosen up all of the debris and the grease. And then I just go through with the microfiber cloth and just wipe it away. I wet the cloth and, wipe it away. And that has been my favorite way to clean my stove when it is like not really dirty, because I noticed after I wipe up the power wash spray, I don't have to go back and shine my stove. Like I just wipe it and let it air dry and it is completely shiny, and that has been saving me a lot of time.
We watch the sun go down over the same old town, like so many times before we.
So after getting everything nice and clean with the steamer and the Brio pad, I did go back and spray the stove with the Dawn Power Wash because I wanted it to be shiny, like I had mentioned earlier. But my microfiber cloth was getting super dirty, so I just grabbed one of these regular like terry cloth dish rags, and I'll be honest with you guys, it didn't turn out as good as it normally does when I use my microfiber. So I think using a microfiber with the Dawn Power Wash is key to a streak-free and shiny stove.
But all the fun times we had, I'll never forget. We will always share a bond, no matter what, 'cause you have a piece of my heart, and I know that we're not perfect.
So the last thing I had to do on this day was mop and vacuum the kitchen area. So I did pull out my Tineco ifloor 3 again to go ahead and get that done. And as you can see, the floors were pretty dirty in here, and it's just so satisfying to me to mop and vacuum at the same time, just seeing all the dirt and everything be sucked up, and also just the floors being shiny at the same time. So this was the last thing I did on this day, and I actually did this right before I went to bed. But I was still so excited to get my fall decor out, and I was a little disappointed that I wasn't able to get it done this day, but I did have a family member stop by unexpectedly, and that was really nice because I hadn't seen her in so many years, and so it kind of took up a lot of my time. But before I went to bed, I was like, I have to do at least one thing. So I did decide to go ahead and change out the scents on my Pura device. And the Pura device is kind of like a smart air freshener where you put your scents in, it connects to your phone through an app, and you can set times for your scents to go on. So like I'll have mine come on at 9 a.m. every morning, and then it turns off at 9 p.m. And then you can have 2 scents, so you can switch the scent every other day, or you can set it to pretty much any way you like it, but I like to have mine switch every other day. And it's just nice because you don't have to think about it, and it really leaves my house smelling amazing. I have so many people complimenting on how good it smells when they come in my house, and this right here is my secret.
You were my best friend, didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space, so brave and so stupid, just like the movies. I was gonna stay in the fight with you, just thinking we would do this until we couldn't do it. Each and every high, every night with you, you and me so clueless. We were just...
So here we are on day 2, and since I got everything clean on day 1, I was so excited to pull out all of my fall decor and just get it all set up. So this is everything I have, and the first thing I decided to do was just pull everything aside that is gonna go at the front door. And I am not going to show you guys how I decorated my front door just for privacy reasons. I am just choosing not to share that, but I'm going to go ahead and start out here at the little entry area. And what I'm going to do is just grab the little plant thing that I have there, and I'm just going to go ahead and empty that out and clean it out and just put my fall stuff in there. And it was funny because I took all of like the grass and stuff that I had in there out, and then I put the fall stuff in there, but it didn't look right. And it was in that moment that I remembered last year I did keep a lot of like the dry grass in there. It was just a few of like the flowers and stuff that I had taken out. And it's funny to me because I'm always finding myself forgetting how I had decorated for like past seasons. I noticed that it takes me a little while to kind of look through stuff and try to remember where everything went, especially with this being our first year in this house. I was like, I don't remember where anything went. Like, I don't remember how I decorated, and so it does turn out a little different every year, which I think is nice. You know, it's nice to kind of switch things up, but I just find that kind of funny how I forget how I decorated things or like where things went. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just get this front little section decorated, and then I will move on to the next thing. So I have an issue when decorating that it's just like every year I just want to buy more and more and more. Like, I just feel like it's not enough, and I want to see if there's anybody else who has that problem. My husband is definitely like, hey, this is enough, like you can stop now. And I find that it's a big issue, especially with my Christmas decor. But here, looking back on the footage, I'm just like seeing little places here and there where I'm just like, hey, I could add this, or like I need more pumpkins, I need like more of this or that. And so I just wanted to see if there's anybody else who has that issue, and how are we supposed to know when it's too much and when we are supposed to stop, or do we just continue adding more and more decorations? I don't know. Let me know what you think below.
Baby, I will show you how you can catch my vibe. And right here we got so much time, looping in the blurry lights. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night. Get in my groove now, don't be shy. Cause I got this list of my favorite things. You could be the part where it all begins. You could be the first and the second and the third and the rest of.
So when I film these decorating videos, just know that what you see here is not always like where I end up putting things in the end, because this table section was definitely something that I decided to change after I filmed it and turned the camera off. I actually put like a tiered tray in there, and then I put the pumpkin on top just because I felt like I needed some elevation there. Like, it just felt like it wasn't enough for such a big table. And there is like an empty space on the bottom that I need to find something. I'm thinking like some kind of like floral arrangement that can like overflow over the sides. Let me know though what you think is better. If you like it better with the pumpkin just on the table, or if you like it better with the tray where the pumpkin is elevated.
Second and the third and the rest of it. Get in my way now, don't be shy. We'll be here dancing day and night. Get in my groove now, don't be shy. You could be one of the things I love. Sunday morning breakfast with our bedroom door locked. I like everything that has a cherry on top. Get on my list of the things.
So when we purchased this house, one of the areas that I was the most excited about was definitely this fireplace area. Just because I knew it was going to be so fun to decorate for all of the seasons, and I had always just dreamed of having like a fireplace area since I was a little kid. And this is not a real fireplace, obviously it is a gas fireplace, but I just love decorating this area for all of the seasons. It's just so fun to me, and so you'll see me here just putting all of the little fall touches, and I really feel like it turned out so nice. It is simple, but I feel like it is just enough to fill that space. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go over to this area below my TV. This is one of those areas where sometimes I just don't know what to do with it. But again, I feel like it did turn out super cute. And then I moved on to the living room area. And I decided to keep the coffee area a little simple, so I just put this little candle holder that has like the fall leaves and stuff around the outside. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go through and change out my pillow covers. So this is something that I had recently discovered. I started to buy like throw pillows for my couches and my bed, and then I realized one day when I was scrolling on Amazon that you can just buy the pillow covers and you don't have to purchase an entire new pillow that you have to find somewhere to store. And it was a game changer for me. So I love that I'm able to do this with my couch pillows. I do recommend though that you make sure you're buying the right size pillow covers, because the first time I did this, I bought pillow covers that were way too small, and it was a pain in the butt trying to shove these pillows into those covers. But I was determined and I did get them in there. but they did look a little wonky. So my recommendation is for you to take your pillows out of the cover, lay them flat, get your ruler and measure the length and the width of your pillow to make sure you are ordering pillow covers that are going to fit and not be too small. Something I struggle with when it comes to decorating my house is pillow placement, just because I really sometimes don't know where to put the pillows, and then a lot of times I will feel like I need more pillows or like pillows that are different sizes. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think or like what your recommendations would be for either adding pillows to my couch or like different sizes of pillows, because as I was putting these out I just felt like I was missing something, but at the same time I don't want to have too many pillows on the couch, because as it is, having this many tends to be quite a lot whenever like we have company over or we're just sitting on the couch watching a movie. A lot of times I just feel like there are way too many pillows and they just end up on the floor, and yeah, I don't know. Please just let me know your recommendations down in the comments section.
Don't waste your time being mad at me. Say what you mean, say what you mean, and you'll get what you need, get what you need. What I do is try to give you more than words. What I say.
My kitchen is another area in my home that I struggle to decorate, just because a lot of times like I don't know where to put anything, and I just feel like I don't know, people don't really come in my kitchen much, and it just feels like a waste of decorations, and I don't want it to be like too much, but I see other people decorate their kitchens and it just looks so nice, but I just don't know what to do with my own kitchen. But yeah, this is the last area that I'm gonna decorate, and I'm just gonna put a few little touches. One thing that I did add is I added like a little wreath on the door here to the pantry, and I felt like that really pulled everything together. But it was a couple of days after I found this cute little wreath at the Family Dollar, and I purchased it, and it just really added a really nice fall touch to this section, and I kind of feel like it really finished it off. So this is gonna be it for this video. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the end shots, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some motivation to clean your house, and if you haven't decorated for fall yet, I hope this gives you that motivation to get that stuff out and get it decorated, because I really feel like adding all of like the oranges and the burgundies and stuff like that just gave my house such an inviting and like warm feeling. And then on top of that, to have like those pura scents, like the pumpkin scents and stuff like that, it just adds such a warm and welcoming feeling to my house. And I just love walking out here every day and just seeing all of the decor out. I just love it. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will plan on seeing you in the next one. Bye.